Hello everyone, Vito's A32 back again with another edition of What's on Deck, your weekly look at what is new and upcoming in the world of playing cards. And it's kind of weird that you'd even need something like this, but there's always so much going on that I think it's necessary. Before I get on to things, first of all, I want to mention something. I'll mention this obviously in my review, but the Black Crown deck from the Blue Crown. Originally, I thought it was just, a standard Crown deck tuck case with a Black Crown deck. But actually, the deck is a little bit different than the original Black Crown deck. The original Black Crown deck actually was silver on black. This new one is actually white on black. So now you get gold on black in the Gold Crown, silver on black in the original Black Crown, and this new one is white on black. So I'm going to want to pick up another one. Anyways, let's go on with what's on Kickstarter. I just wanted to address that. First of all, we got the Bicycle Knicks playing cards from Collectible Cards. It's 87% funded, 12 days to go, just under $500 needed. So it's a very good possibility they will fund. I'm not 100% certain they will fund at this rate. There's a new one from Classics Playing Cards, which is the son of Mike from Collectible Playing Cards. It is the Music Box Playing Cards. It's 11% funded, 28 days to go. Slowly getting there. It's got a big goal of $20,000, which may make it a little bit difficult to hit. But it's an interesting deck where the tuck case, it's a side opening or a top opening tuck case, just like it's a top opening tuck case. Would be just like a music box. It's printed by Expert Playing Cards, and it actually plays music when you open it, just like a music box. There's going to be gold foiling on the tuck case, and it's made to sound like an actual vintage music box. What that sound is, I'll show you momentarily. It is the song is called Claire de Lune, recorded using a metal comb flicking against metal teeth, giving it the genuine music box sound. It's 30 seconds long. It's the first ever deck to play music. It's got gold foiling and embossing on the tuck case, magnetic closing flap, custom tuck case that opens from the top. I think that's one of the first I've seen like that. Cherry wood finish look to it. It's got a unique keyhole design and printed by Expert Playing Cards. So here's the tune. Today, I just showing us the box. This is the prototype, no embossing, no foil. And what you see in there is not the actual, oops, son of a gun. That's not the actual deck. The actual deck is this. It's a rider back inspired back design with a ballerina on there, just like you would see in a music box, with dark cherry wood finish look to it, and a mahogany finish, or a mahogany type look on the faces, and in the borders, of course, of the back design, which is pretty cool. Just a standard court card, which is fine. Keep it standard, keep it classic looking. At first, I thought there wasn't any kind of a distinction between the reds and the blacks, but actually, I am seeing that the clubs and spades are in a white, the hearts and the diamonds are in almost an ivory color, an off-white. So that's fine. That works. It's better than being all white like I thought it was. Here's your jokers. They're just ballerinas, just like you'd expect, with a old-fashioned music player on the spade pip. It's a pretty cool deck. I hope it funds. I suggest checking it out. It's pretty unique. And, it is a little bit pricey, $25 each, $40 for two. It is a little bit pricey, but it is very unique. So go check it out. Next up, Flamenco 1 Point Cards by Nicholas Zaitun. Funded, 22 days to go. It's not even something that interests me. It's just a guy trying to start a card company. So he's producing some prototypes and selling them for a lot of money on Kickstarter. And that's about it. Lackluster artwork and designs in the back design. These are playing cards from Patrick Kuhn and Alex Pandrea through House of Playing Cards. It's funded, 6 days to go. It's an okay, back design. Obviously, the faces are fairly standard. What I don't like is a limited edition deck that's $25 each, which I guess is not unreasonable, and it is pretty limited. What I really hate is the fact that they want you to pay $35 to get a red deck and a DVD that I don't want or don't need. Why not give people who just want the deck the ability to buy the deck? It would probably be a lot more. It would be a lot better for them business-wise if they allowed people to just buy the deck, the people that wanted, instead of forcing people to buy a DVD they don't want. And as a result, they're losing out on a lot of potential business from people like me who are not backing the project because of that, and because shipping rates are excessive. Moving on, Free Little Pigs from Derek McGee and Pure Imagination Projects. 36% funded, 5 days to go. I do not see it funding. I think it's just maybe people aren't too interested in pig court cards, and maybe it's the fact that they're basically repeating court cards, and the fact that they've tried to defend themselves by saying, oh, well, it costs so much money for an artist to design 12 court cards, so we're just going to design 4. Well, if that's the case, then why design them at all? Why customize them at all? If it's a money issue. And on the other side of the coin is, it's a project on Kickstarter. Have the deck designed. At this rate, they paid the artist money to design this deck, and it's not going to be produced. Had they paid them a little bit more money to design 12 court cards, it probably would have funded pretty quickly, and they would have covered their expenses. This way, they're not covering their expenses, and they're not funding, and it's their loss. Next, we got Fairies of the Forest, Oracle, and Playing Cards by Jessica Feinberg. Funded, 11 days to go, not a surprise with that one, and I haven't heard any issues with her, so if you're interested, definitely check it out. Akuta's relaunch from KL and NL, 15% funded, 15 days to go, not going to happen. Their original project had a goal of $6,000. This one has a goal of $18,000. They tripled their funding goal because apparently they failed to properly figure out shipping expenses and whatnot before launching the original project. And now apparently it's going to cost them an additional $12,000, which makes me question their mathematics and how they're working out this project, and just makes me question, what they're doing. Because obviously, if they had a $12,000 jump in funding, something went horribly wrong in the original project, and something is probably still not good with this one. Moving along, we got Magnificent Playing Cards relaunch by Jeff Home Run Games. 14% funded, 18 days to go. It's not doing good. I don't expect it to fund at this rate. It's the same deck as last time. This time they're only doing a blue deck and a metal deck. But if you look at this project, well, first of all, let's look at this deck, the paper deck, pre-printed by USB-C. It's a very standard looking deck. The back design is not exciting at all, or vintage looking, or anything that, makes it stand out. It's just a very simple back design, really. I mean, nothing to get excited about. And then the faces, if you look at them, they're basically just standard, vintage inspired, but basically standard. So again, nothing to be overly excited about. Same with the Ace of Spades, really. And then you got the metal deck, which will cost you $110 to get the metal deck and a paper deck. Only 100 being produced. And again, it's just the same design. Nothing to be too excited about. They've done other metal decks in the past that were much better. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, metal decks are printed by the Freedom Playing Card Company. Well, technically speaking, I'm not sure exactly how you print a metal playing card, but whatever. I'm surprised that they're not doing a paper deck for the same company, because it would probably be cheaper, and they've done it in the past, but it is what it is. But let's look at this. You look at this, they got only 100 available. They got 50 available at the regular price of $120 for the metal deck and the paper deck. And the early bird is $110. Not a big savings, but better than nothing. So far, only 7 people have decided to get the metal deck. And on top of that, they got 20 people who have backed for 1 or 2 paper decks. That tells me there's not a lot of interest in this artwork, and certainly not a lot of interest at all in the metal deck. And they keep trying these projects over and over again, metal decks, and now they design this new deck here, the Magnificent deck, and people just aren't interested. I don't know what it's going to take for them to get through their head that people don't want this deck, or they don't want metal decks anymore, or whatever the case is. But it's not going to happen at this rate, I don't believe. Excuse me a minute. I need a drink. Frostbite Playing Cards by Sam Wheeler, who is I think he's a pretty known cardist. It's funded, 15 days to go. It's an okay deck. Not a big fan of the faces, especially with them all being the same color. And I mean, the back design is okay. Cardists will love it. Obviously, it's funded. Harambe Playing Cards by Brad Blitz is 8% funded, 7 days ago. So far, they've only gotten the same $52 for weeks now. It's not going to fund. Heroes of the Nations by Timothy Kremer is funded, 15 days to go. There's still a possibility they unlock the $15,000, I think it's $15,000 stretch goal or $14,000 stretch goal, whatever it is, for the light deck. But I don't see them hitting their goal for the gold and silver decks. Lolita Fashion Playing Cards by Fine Fan, 0% funded, still 71 hours to go, not a chance in hell that's going to fund. Trump Shuffle Playing Cards by Unicorn Publishing USA is 8% funded, 18 days to go. May or may not happen, I don't know. So far, not a lot of people interested in a Trump deck. The artwork is okay, it's not bad. $5,000 goal. One of the problems with the project is it doesn't tell you who's printing the decks. And that's a turnoff for a lot of backers or potential backers when they don't know who's producing it. Apparently, you might be able to get your own image in this deck. Apparently, there's a couple different decks here. There's red and blue. There is a classic edition, which is going to have a 60-plus card poker deck. Or maybe both of them are 60-plus. No, actually, I'm pretty sure it's not. There's a classic edition in blue and red. There's a stretch goal for a gold deck. And there is a platinum edition with red or blue. This one says 52 classic cards plus 2 jokers and X jokers or whatever those are. And a wild card. The classic edition doesn't tell you how many cards it is. It seems the classic edition it says it's a matte finish. I'm guessing it's a smooth finish. While the platinum edition is a linen finish, which is obviously a better quality, but it doesn't tell you who's producing either one. The stretch goals are ridiculously high priced, and they're not going to hit them at those types of goals. With $20,000 for a custom seal, which is, that one's kind of possible, but I don't see them even funding. Never mind hitting $20,000. $50,000 gets a custom chip with every pledge. Not going to happen. $75,000 custom dice. And $100,000 the gold edition deck. No chance in hell I see them hitting $100,000 or even $20,000. And I personally think they should have the gold edition unlocked way before free chips or dice. But I mean, that would obviously, get them more funding than just giving away stuff, but whatever. It's not like it's going to cost them $100,000 to produce the deck, if that's what they're thinking. And the gold deck is supposed to have like all the bells and whistles on it, foils and metallic inks and stuff like that. Anyways, moving on. Let's see what else we got. If anything, I think that's it for Kickstarter. There's more coming soon. I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's check out Indiegogo very quickly. Oh, wait, there's one more I'll have to find on Kickstarter. It's not showing up as playing cards for some reason. But I'll get to it via the forum. Indiegogo, Real Friends playing cards, 21% funded, 24 days to go. Don't see it happening. Um, Retro playing cards, 0% funded, 4 days to go. Definitely not happening unless there's some kind of a miracle. And then there's this Feared Paragraph playing cards. By the way, that's got to be the worst name I've ever seen for a deck of cards. One of the worst. I mean, what the hell is Feared Paragraph? Um, the artwork on the court cards is basically standard. To be printed by Make Playing Cards. They're only producing 70 decks. They're 16 euros each. 32 euros for 2 decks. So you don't even get a discount for buying multiple decks. 4 decks is $64. So that's going to hurt them as well. Usually, when you buy multiples, it costs a little bit less each. Not in this case. The faces in the tuck case, I think they're horrible. Personally speaking, I mean, you look at this, maybe the images don't do it justice, but I'm having difficulty reading the indexes on these cards and seeing the artwork. They're just so dark, and the indexes seem to be unreadable or hard to read. Just because of the colors they use in them here, I think this will show it better. I mean, I don't like this font, not the font, the coloring they use on the indexes like this. Like it's all kind of like fudged up. How are you supposed to identify that when you can barely make it out? And then the pips, they're okay. I don't even understand, like, Feared Paragraph. What is that name supposed to mean? What is it supposed to be, like, the theme of? 3 years of designing experience. Well, apparently it wasn't in playing cards. Moving along. Playing cards .a2, 0% funded, 27 days, not happening at this rate. Heroes of the Nations, they have it on here as well, 0% funded, 16 days to go. There's no reason to have it on here if it's on Kickstarter, because obviously most people are going to back on Kickstarter, and obviously nobody's backing here. Circus Custom Playing Card Deck, 0% funded, 11 days to go, not happening. Splashes Playing Cards, 0% funded, 23 days to go, and not happening. Do you see a pattern here with Indiegogo? Moving along, Tally Ho Pearl Edition from King's Wild is launching this upcoming Saturday, January the 14th at 12 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you check that out if you're interested. And just have to bear with me a second. Also, coming tomorrow at 9 a.m., I don't know if that's Eastern Time or Central Time to Kickstarter, is a new project from Robert Tomlinson, Barclay Mountain, which is the Bicycle Divide of a Nation, the second in a series of U.S. themed playing cards. Let's see if I can find that on here. Ooh. There we go. There we go. There it is. There's some of the artwork. Very nice. I like this style of decks, and he's good at it. And here's a project. Apparently there was a typo. Previously they had Rise of an Aeson, now we got Divide of an Aeson. Coming soon, Fall of an Aeson, thanks to Donald Trump. Or at least Divide of an Aeson Part 2. But anyways, yeah, very nice artwork. I definitely recommend checking it out. I'm not sure who's producing it. Oh, obviously. Duh, it's Bicycle branded. Who's producing it? Made in China? No, it's obviously USB-C. I'm just having a brain fart. Anyway, let's try to get through a few more things. There's actually something I want to see on Instagram as well. Here's a new deck that I just got this week, the Bicycle Fruit Deck. I'm not sure if it's available at collectibleplayingcards.com yet, but it might be available soon. It's from Defata Magic. Very colorful deck. You'll see in the review. Each card has a different fruit on the face. Each suit is basically different colored fruit. One is green, one is yellow, one is red, and one is blue, if I recall correctly. And, or brown, I guess. Very cool. Just a green rider back. Some gaff cards in there as well. Good for Magic. At least a couple of them were really good for Magic. Usable. Then there is Bicycle Lovely Bear coming from Defata Magic soon in a light blue and a pink. You know, the cute little decks. The pink one just has white pips and faces, while the blue one actually has red colors to the court cards and to the red suits. I'm not sure when they're going to be released, but I discovered on Vimeo from Defata Magic, on the Vimeo, however you pronounce that, page. So they should be coming soon. And we got these marble backs. Not sure if I mentioned them before. Probably did. From TroyVonSeibner.com. The problem is, and you can see the idea of the back design here on the faces I get on the box, I guess you could say. But the problem is they haven't bothered to show us a whole lot of pictures. They haven't showed us a clear picture of the back design, just this. They haven't shown us a clear picture of any faces, just part of a 10. No court cards, no ace of spades, no jokers. No mention of who printed this, but I'm guessing it's Expert Playing Cards. Possibly. Can't tell. And just a lack of information, a lack of pictures, and that's turning off a lot of people. Next up, Bicycle Constellation, which is going to be available today or tomorrow at collectibleplayingcards.com. Currently available at spielkartenshop.com. Available in 4-star signs currently, the Aquarius, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Capricorn. Basically just rider back faces, but they look like these Starlight decks from Collectible Playing Cards. With fairly straightforward, jokers and faces, just with stars on the faces and the backs. Very okay. I could probably do this. And again, this is, I guess, from Defata Magic. Here you see the faces. Custom jokers. Rider back designs. They're fine. And I definitely will be checking them out. I just don't know if they're going to be making, 12 different versions of this deck. I kind of hope not. Especially if the only difference is going to be the jokers and, the ace of spades or whatever. Also, there was a new deck that was available on Conjuring Arts this week for $50. It's a Assay Wind dog. Blah, 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 blah. It was a deck from Assay Wind. That's how you pronounce his name. Called "Do You Want to Change Your Mind?" And I've seen this before on the forum or something, but it was never available for sale. It was produced for his own use. But they decided to sell 60, and yes, I will be reviewing it. Thank goodness for all these gift cards I have to Conjuring Arts. So it doesn't really cost me any money. It's just a fairly standard back design pattern, repeating back design pattern with question marks throughout. And I'm guessing by the lack of showing us faces, they're fairly standard faces. And the tuck case is not overly exciting. It's just, do you want to change your mind? On the front. A big question mark. A lot of questions about that deck, obviously. Here's the other one that I wanted to mention from Kickstarter. It's not even shown by searching for playing cards. The artwork is decent. I'm not going to fault him for that. It's pretty good. The tuck case is pretty cool. A little bit weird, but cool. And I mean, so is the artwork on the faces, as you can see. A little bit weird, but cool. Kind of cool. The problem is they've only set a goal of $200. They've only got one backer so far, with 25 days to go. And they're not, first of all, there's not even a name for this deck. It says custom card set, funding. That's the name of your deck. That's the name of your project. That is completely uncreative and unacceptable. You can't just go, here's a custom deck of cards. I had no idea what to call it, but here it is. It's inspired by King Charles the 7th of France, the Suicide King, who went crazy and killed himself. First time designing and printing a card set. And with this inexperience came the unexpected price of printing these cards. He printed one of his own, cost him over $20, which he could barely afford. So he set a goal of $200 to produce a few decks. And he's inexperienced, and he admits that. Why would I want to give my money to somebody who's inexperienced, who has set a funding goal that is unacceptable? I did contact them, never received a response as well. And $40 for a deck of cards that has no name, only ships to the US, not likely going to happen. I mean, there is a possibility since it's only a $200 goal, but I say buyer beware on this one because you got a guy who is inexperienced, has a funding goal that is not very reasonable, a deck that costs way too much money, artwork that's, okay, but it doesn't even have a name for the deck. No mention of who's producing it, although I assume it's probably Make Playing Cards or something. And, oh, look at this. He's a college student. You know how many projects I backed from college students who didn't have time to fulfill the project, or this or that, or finish the project? That is kind of a no-go for me as well. Moving along. Gotta mention this one as well, even though you can't buy it anymore. Zach Mueller decided to release another deck earlier this week. It's the Green Fontaines. It's kind of an ugly green. It's like an olive green. Not very appealing to me. And then, on top of that, 5,000 decks, and they sold out within 9 hours. They sold out before I even knew they were available for sale. I saw that they were coming. I saw this video posted on his YouTube channel. But it was an unlisted video. And then it got removed. And then at some point in time, it got put back, and the deck was released, and it sold out. Yay. First of all, $15 is way too much money for this deck. And, $200 or whatever for the red deck is way too much money. It's a deck that cost him probably $5 at most to produce. So he's probably making $50,000 off this deck. And now he's going to sit on his ass for the rest of the year and do nothing because he doesn't need to. He's got more than enough money to live off for the rest of the year. Thanks to a whole bunch of fanboys who throw money at him. For what? This guy sat on his computer for 15 minutes, put an F on a back design. On the Ace of Spades, he put Fontaine, and he put an F on the Jokers. He didn't even create the F or design the F. It's just a font from an Apple computer program. And that's it. And he's making a boatload of money off of this, and he keeps on pimping it out, and idiots keep on buying this. I'm not going to buy it, not for $15. If it was $8 or $10, sir, I'd buy it. But $15 is pushing it for a deck that has zero effort and creativity put into it. And for a guy who's turning into Daniel Madison, he's the Daniel Madison of cardistry. And by the way, the moves in his video are boring and repetitive, just like his decks. They're boring and repetitive. And I mean, it's just the same thing over and over. It's no, I'm not trying to, offend cardists or anything like that, but I mean, cardistry is just overrated as far as I'm concerned. Who wants to know how to cut cards 3 million different ways? Or fan cards 3 million different ways? I mean, it's overrated. Red Fontaine's reselling for over $350 a deck. That's ridiculous. By the way, the last deck he did as well, the pink deck, which sold out in 3 days, that was an ugly color as well. Nothing against pink. If it was a nice pink color, it would have been good. But the pink he used was like an off-white pink. It was horrible. Moving along, I'm not sure if there's anything else to mention. Oh, wait, there is one more. I'm going to get to Instagram. Oops. Oopsie daisies. And apparently there's a lot of projects coming up this month and next month on Kickstarter, and decks coming out and getting a little bit ridiculous. Oops. What is this? Card Experiment. That's what I want. No, not Dex Card. Who the hell is Dex Card? It's what I want to get to. Card Experiment. They got some new decks coming sometime in the next couple of weeks to Kickstarter. It's Bicycle Explorers. Looks like they have 2 different decks, maybe 2 different tuck cases. I've questioned why they're going to Kickstarter. Apparently they want to use rainbow foil paper for printing the tuck case and embossing and a custom seal, which apparently their fans have been asking for. But this makes it more expensive, so they need to get to Kickstarter to fund it. I'll just wait until after Kickstarter. Thank you. And get it later on some other website. I guess this might be part of the back design. Explorers. Space theme. It's fine. I think that's all I've got to mention. Coming this week, I got couple of awesome decks that I'm waiting on. One is the ABC deck from David Blaine, which should be here tomorrow. And the other is the Private Reserve from Dan and Dave, as well as 12 mystery decks, of which I'm hoping to find the Smoke and Mirrors Gold edition, because I want to have a second one, and the White Makers deck. And what I'm going to be doing with that is I will be doing 12 videos where I will reveal each mystery deck. Most of them I'll probably be putting up for sale. If anyone is interested, I will mention that in the video if it's available or not. But there's a couple obviously that I hope to get, like the White Makers and that Gold Smoke and Mirror deck. And obviously looking forward to checking out this Private Reserve deck and the ABC deck, and look forward to seeing reviews of those probably either at the last week of January or first week of February. Anyway, that's what I've got. I'll see you next time with more. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Of course, check out my sponsor, collectibleplayingcards.com. Use the code VIDEOZAVE32 to save 10% on your order, and to also help out this channel. Speaking of which, I'm anticipating them having a whole bunch of new decks on the website any day now. They said they were probably going to have them up Friday. hasn't happened yet. They do have the foil back decks. They got the National Playing Card Collection deck. Their recent Kickstarter decks, the Bicycle Denim, Nocturnal, and Wood Rider backs, and of course the Don Quixote, and more coming. And that is that. See you next time with more.